Welcome to the Wealth Transfer with TC. Today I'm going to be discussing a dream that Scottie Pippen had concerning Bitcoin. And I think it's really interesting and fascinating and a little fun. But there's also some seriousness with this too as well, with the message that I'm getting ready to share. Before we get started, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing information, giving you my thoughts and my opinions on that information. If you guys like these videos that I make, the support links are down below in the description and also the About section. Scottie Pippen, most of you should know who he is. He played on the Bulls for a number of years, has 6 championship rings for the NBA. And of course, I live in Illinois, so I've always been a Chicago fan or just a fan of Illinois sports. I don't watch sports as much as I used to. But that was a time in my life where we saw Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, basically over a 9-year period win 6 championships. And it was very exciting for the NBA. And we haven't really seen anything like that since. And of course, if they had stuck together, who knows how many more championships they would have won. So he posted this dream on Twitter. And he says here, Satoshi Nakamoto sent me this image in my dream last night and said, "You're not the only bull that repeats history, my friend." Now I'm even more bullish on Bitcoin, not financial advice. So he has this picture that he has posted here. And you can see where at the time in 2020 where they started cutting rates. And that's when Bitcoin was going up. And you can see now where we are at when they are beginning to do the rate cuts. Basically, what he's saying with this picture is that Bitcoin is getting ready to go on this bull run, a repeat of this bull run. And that's what happened with the Chicago Bulls. And remember, they did a three-peat. And you remember Jordan didn't play for several years because of what happened to his father. And then when he came back, they won 3 more championships. So Satoshi coming to Scottie Pippen in his dream saying, "You're not the only bull that repeats history, my friend." Right? So we are getting ready to see history again being made when it comes to cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. So I find this to be interesting. There's people saying that he didn't really have a dream. This is something he put together because of where he got this image from. And so when it comes to Bitcoin, this is what we have been waiting for, and not just in the wealth transfer, but all over the world. People who have been buying and holding, the people that don't necessarily have time to swing trade or to immerse themselves into trading crypto and stocks and everything else. And I have shared with you guys in the past multiple times, and this is where the crypto prophets keep getting it wrong, and that's why they keep missing, and that's one of the reasons why they want you financially dumb. And I'm talking about the people who prophesy often about crypto or the wealth transfer, because they know that if you learn about the markets and you know how to trade, you won't fall for certain things, right? You'll believe them when they say, "Oh, I predicted Bitcoin to go up or down," or whatever the case, right? It makes it seem like they are a prophet and they're talking to God, when there are so many people in so many videos I've watched and in learning from different people, that when you understand what's going on, you know how foolish some of these prophets can be. And I shared with you guys multiple times about the different scenarios that Bitcoin is going to go through concerning the ETFs, concerning the Bitcoin halving. And I told you guys that, on average, the Bitcoin bull run doesn't start for at least 9 months, which is in January. But last year when I was telling you that, all the other prophets were telling you there's going to be a wealth transfer. They were telling you that the markets are going to skyrocket because of the Bitcoin ETFs. And then they also told you that Bitcoin was going to skyrocket, this wealth transfer was going to happen in April. And April came and gone, and look what happened. And look how many failed words that hit the ground because they weren't correct. And it's not just the prophets. There's a lot of YouTubers that were doing the same thing. They were pumping Bitcoin and altcoins right before the Bitcoin ETF, and they were doing the same thing with the Bitcoin halving. You have to wonder sometimes, where do some of these people get their information from? And it's not to say that a bull run can't start before January, but I think that one of the things that is lacking in the crypto community and that is lacking in the wealth transfer community is that, first of all, we don't have Bitcoin as part of our portfolio. When the dips come, you buy $20, or you're dedicating a certain amount of money towards Bitcoin every month. And if you guys remember in this video that I did back in April 30th of 2023, I shared with you guys prophetic instructions that I believed that God was sharing with me was to start buying Bitcoin. We had just went through Bitcoin hitting the bottom, and I think it was around anywhere between 20 to 25,000 when I put out this video. But there was a reason for that. And because now you know that BlackRock and all these institutions are buying up all the Bitcoin. And if we had came together as a community, not just the wealth transfer, but also the crypto community, and everybody's dedicated to buying Bitcoin because everybody wants Bitcoin to go up. Everybody wants Bitcoin to hit 100,000, so all the altcoins will go up, right? But then nobody's talking about buying Bitcoin or even putting out the message, hey, we should be buying Bitcoin. If we want to see Bitcoin go to 100,000, it should be part of our portfolio. I guarantee that most of you that are listening to me over the last 30 days, despite the dips, have not bought any Bitcoin. There are trigger points for Bitcoin in the wealth transfer. And what is that, right? When Bitcoin starts to hit over 100,000. If you want Bitcoin to reach over 100,000, but you're waiting on BlackRock to do it all, you're waiting on MicroStrategy to do it all, but you're not putting anything into Bitcoin, you could almost say that you're delaying your own wealth transfer. Especially those if you're shorting Bitcoin. To me, at least right now, as we know what things are supposed to happen prophetically, most people that are in the wealth transfer are not shorting. Because first of all, it's counterproductive. We're all waiting for Bitcoin to reach 100,000, so all our altcoins will move. But in the meantime, instead of buying Bitcoin, we're shorting Bitcoin, right? And I'm not just talking about in the wealth transfer. I see it in the crypto community. There's YouTubers right now that they complain that Bitcoin is dropping, but then they also promote shorting too as well. And I think that's counterproductive, especially if you're in the wealth transfer. So historically, 9 months is when the bull run starts. It could happen before, it can start before, but we have a contentious election. And we already know one side is anti-crypto. But with the elections, it kind of throws everything off. And what's happening in the Middle East, it throws everything off. And so even some of the people that I watch, there's a lot of confusion that's going on within the market. Sometimes it's hard to read those charts. But if you trade by the chart only, most of the time, you're going to get it right. So going back to what Scottie Pippen posted on Twitter, and him saying that you're not the only bull that repeats history, my friend. All right, so history repeats itself. It's been doing it over and over and over. Wealth transfers have repeated itself in the past. Stock market crashes and wealth transfers have repeated itself in the past. And we are at that point. When you take a look at this picture, when they start doing rate cuts, what happens to crypto? It starts to go up, right? We should start seeing all-time highs when it comes to altcoins over the next year, right? According to what history is saying. Well, we are at that same point in 2024 when they are cutting rates and you're going to see Bitcoin start to move and you see your altcoins start to move, especially in the future when they start doing more rate cuts from here on out, right? Maybe even do some bigger cuts. But history does repeat itself, and it's been doing it over and over and over for years. And this is why God is trying to share with his people, you have to dig your well in order to benefit. So you have to invest. There's a lot of people out there right now that are preaching about a wealth transfer, but not telling you how to be a part of it. And there's a lot of people think that when DJT becomes president, somehow, some way, millions of dollars are going to come into your pockets without you having to do anything. It can happen, but there's millions of people that don't know that you have to invest. Hopefully, people will take this message to heart. I wish that it could go out to the whole entire crypto community and what we need to do our part. One thing that's on my mind, if you think about all the money that is poured into all the new meme coins just in 2024, you think about if that money was put into Bitcoin, there's something to think about. There are some people that don't want the crypto markets to have more adoption. There are some people that want the crypto markets to stay right where they're at because why? They can control it. And that's why BlackRock and all these companies are getting into it, because now they can control it. For the wealth transfer in the crypto community to start is Bitcoin reaching over that 100,000 mark. So anyways, that's all I have for this. Thank you guys for listening. God bless. TC out.